Good morning, boys and girls. Who can tell me about what animal kingdom we talked about this week? Can anybody tell me? It was amphibians. Yes, amphibians. Good job. Very good. I want to tell you about a personal experience I had with a frog. And yes, a frog is an amphibian. I was taking a shower a few years ago and I was washing my hair. Of course, that's when Mr. Darby had hair. He doesn't have any hair now, but this is when Mr. Darby had hair. I was taking a shower and I happened to open my eyes after getting the soap out, and I looked down and there was a green frog in the bottom of my shower. And needless to say, caught me by surprise. I was screaming, I jumped, I almost slipped and fell. It was really a bad moment. But I eventually calmed down, was able to get the little fellow out of there, and just was trying to figure out how he got in my shower. But who knows? But anyway, who here has a personal experience with a frog that they can tell us about? And it's probably a whole lot funnier than Mr. Darby's. Anybody has a personal experience with the frog they want to tell us about? Okay. Do you remember what we talked about this week on our Venn diagram when we're talking about the differences between frogs and toads? Remember when we talked about that this past week? Well, today we're going to talk about the life cycle of a frog. Can anybody tell me what a life cycle is? Well, a life cycle is basically a sequence of changes from an egg to an adult frog. And we'll talk about that some more as we go along, talking about the life cycle of a frog. Now, this week, some of our vocabulary words we talked about frogs and toads. This week, we want to talk about eggs. We want to talk about tadpole. We want to talk about froglet. We want to talk about the word frog or an adult frog, and also life cycle. So these are going to be our new words that we're going to talk about today in our lesson today. I have here a picture of some eggs, hope you can see it, that are from a frog. I also have a picture of a tadpole. What a tadpole looks like, another one of our vocabulary words. We'll also talk about froglet, another one of our vocabulary words. And we have frog, or an adult frog that we have. So what I want to do, boys and girls, I want to play a little game. And I'm not going to look, I'm just going to pick up one, and I'm going to hold it up to you guys, and I'm going to say a word. And if Mr. Darby gets it right, I want you to hold a thumbs up. But if Mr. Darby gets it wrong, I want you to have thumbs down. Okay, so first picture I'm holding up to you guys, I can't see it. I'm going to say this is a frog. I see all thumbs down right now. So let's see if I was right or wrong. It's a tadpole. So good job on everybody doing the thumbs down. All right, I'm gonna hold up another picture. I'm gonna take another guess. I'm going to say this is the picture of a froglet. Got all thumbs down. Oh boy, I'm getting it wrong again. It's a picture of a frog. Very good, boys and girls. All right, let's try this again. I'm going to say this is a picture of the eggs. All thumbs up. Very good. Did I get it right? I got it right. We're just going to do one more. All right. I'll hold this one up. I'm going to say tadpole. Ah, look at all my thumbs up. Everybody's got thumbs up. Perfect. Good job. Good job on that, boys and girls. So what we're going to do now, boys and girls, is I'm going to read a nonfiction book to you guys. And a nonfiction book that means that all the facts are true. That's going to be in the book. The name of the book that I have for you guys today is called Watch It Grow Frog. And the name of the author is Barry Watts. So, as I begin to read this book and share it with you, I'm going to play another little game with you guys. We just talked about vocabulary words, right? We talked about egg. We talked about tadpole. We talked about froglet. We talked about frog or adult frog. We also talked about life cycle. So, as I'm reading today, what I want you guys to do, every time you hear a vocabulary word, I want everybody just to clap. Just clap. And that way I'll know everybody's listening, they know what the vocabulary words are. So each time you hear one of those vocabulary words while I'm reading, just clap. Okay? Let's try it. All right. Frogs come from eggs. Here is an egg laid by a female frog. The egg is surrounded by a ball of jelly. Together, the egg and jelly are about the size of a pea. The jelly is tough, protects the dark egg in the middle. A female frog lays hundreds of eggs at the same time. She lays them in a pond or marsh. The eggs are stuck together in a big lump called frog spawn. Very good. I heard me some claps during that time. So everybody's been paying attention and they got it correct on our vocabulary words in there. Can anyone tell me how many eggs does the female frog lay? Can anybody tell me? Okay, yes, she lays hundreds of eggs at one time. Very good, very good. All right, we're gonna continue reading. The egg changes. After a week, the dark egg in the middle of the jelly begins to change shape. It slowly becomes a soft shape. It slowly becomes wiggling creature about as long and as a grain of rice. A baby frog called a tadpole is growing. The tadpole eats food stored in the egg. After about 2 weeks, all the food in the egg has been used up and the jelly around it has become softer. Wow, heard me some claps during that time too, so everybody's still paying attention about the vocabulary words. So, who can tell me what a baby frog is called? A tadpole. Very good, very good. Everybody's listening. Everybody is listening. The tadpole hatches. When the tadpole is ready to hatch, it wiggles through the soft jelly. The tadpole has a large head and tail. It will use its tail for swimming. For the first few days after hatching, the tadpole rests. It uses a small sucker on its chin to stick on the rest of the frog spawn or a plant. Wow, heard me some more claps during that time as well. Who can describe what a tadpole looks like? Anybody can describe what a tadpole looks like? Let's see. Can anybody remember? It has a what? A large head and tail. That's what a tadpole looks like. Very good, boys and girls. Okay. All right. The frog comes out of the water. After 12 weeks, the tadpole has turned into a small frog. Its tail has become much smaller, so it uses its legs to swim. The frog now spends more time out of the water. It sits on lily pads and floating weeds or by the side of the pond looking for small insects to eat. So, heard me some more claps there too. So we're really paying attention to words such as tadpole and frog. All right. Who can tell me how much does a frog spend a lot of time in the water or not? Can we all remember that? Or no? Right. This frog now spends more time out of the water. Very good, and very good at paying attention. So this book, boys and girls, I hope you all enjoyed it. We'll have it here in the classroom, in our classroom library. So anytime you guys get ready to read it, or we have some extra time, we can go over to the library center and finish reading or read more about amphibians or life cycle of a frog. So that's a good job. Let's see. All right, boys and girls, we keep talking about the life cycle of a frog. And just want to make sure, but the sequence of frogs, or going from an egg to an adult frog, we start out as the eggs, and according to our book, it goes to the tadpole. That's the next step, or next sequence of change. Then goes to a froglet and to an adult frog. So what we'll do, we'll continue to learn the life cycle of a frog, and you guys will get together in partners. Now, when you get together as partners, you will be able to have the cards that I have provided for you guys, and you can sit and talk about them. Now, you can have them in order, like just in line. You can draw a circle on your page and have eggs at the top. You could have tadpoles next at the side. You could have the froglet at the bottom, and then you can have frog next. But it's probably just easier if everybody just wants to have it in one line. That way they have them all lined up together. They'll have egg, they'll have tadpole, they'll have froglet, and you'll have frog or an adult frog. So we'll get together as pairs and we'll practice that. I'm going to also give you guys some cards that you can take home and have with your parents, practice with you as well. You can kind of teach mom and dad what you learn in class about the life cycle of a frog, and they can help you as well, trying to put them in order and make sure we put them in the same order each time. Right now we're going to look at a video on amphibians. So let's check this out and see what kind of video we have as far as how fun it's going to be for us. Hold on.
Hello everybody. Today we're going to look at a truly amazing group of vertebrates. When they're born, they usually live in water, but when they grow up and become adults, they spend most of their time on land. We present the amphibians. All amphibians have some common characteristics that you should know about, so you can recognize and differentiate them. Amphibians have thin, bare skin with no hairs and scales to protect them. Most have 4 legs and a membrane between their toes that allows them to move much better in the water. Amphibians are oviparous, but they don't incubate their eggs after laying them. They abandon them and don't care for their young. Not very good parents, huh? When they hatch, they're small larvae and live in water. Slowly, very slowly, their bodies go through a process called metamorphosis. During this process, the body of the amphibian changes. Their front and rear legs, their limbs grow, and their heads and their bodies develop, so they finally look like their parents. In the early stages of their lives, amphibians breathe through gills. But when they grow up and become adults, they breathe with their lungs. The problem is, their lungs are very small and cannot get all the oxygen they need to live. But nature is very clever and has solved this problem by allowing them to breathe and get the oxygen they need through their skin. That's why they need to be near water to keep their skin wet. In the early stages of their life, some amphibians are herbivores, but when they grow up, most become carnivores. So they need to hunt. Some have a long, sticky tongue they shoot out to capture prey. Aren't amphibians fascinating and also a bit strange? So let's remember the most important characteristics. Amphibians are vertebrates. They're oviparous. In the early stages of their life, they live in water as larvae. But slowly they change until they look like their parents. This process of change is called metamorphosis. Amphibians are carnivores, so they have to hunt to eat. They have thin, smooth skin and breathe through their skin and with their lungs. Amphibians are so interesting, aren't they? Goodbye for now, everyone, and don't forget to subscribe to Happy Learning.
Okay, boys and girls, I hope you enjoyed that video on amphibians. What I'd like for you guys to do now, take out your journals and we're going to do some journal writing. And I want you guys to open your journals and we want you to draw a picture of a life cycle. And I want you to write me 2 or 3 sentences on what you remember or what you know about the life cycle of a frog. Any of you that finish early, we're going to take an opportunity and we're going to practice our skit that we're going to do in class as well. So let's get out our journals. Let's start doing our drawing for our life cycle and writing our sentences down. And then we'll move on to start practicing our skit. This ends this lesson plan. Thank you.